So Spencer, when you look at this, what are some of the things that you think Todd Monken really wants to see in preseason game one against the Bears?
Yeah, I think whichever quarterback is starting, and we don't know yet who that's going to be. He's not ready to announce that decision just yet. I think he wants to see them go out and at least for that opening series or maybe two series, depending on what he decides to do, see them run an efficient and effective drive, move up and down the field, and do all the get all the procedural stuff correct. Like I think he wants to see a clean first drive, even if that means like it doesn't end in a touchdown or it doesn't end in a field goal or whatever. I think he just wants to see a clean drive where they gain a couple first downs and they're getting in and out of the huddle and they're executing the plays the way they're supposed to be executed. And at this stage, given what we've seen from this offense so far and some of those issues that have kind of reared their ugly head every day at practice, I think you'll walk away pretty happy about that if that's what you get. Now, you obviously want to start getting a sense of what your team does well, as I mentioned, and seeing how they run certain things and seeing the plays be effective. But I think that kind of comes next in line behind just being able to execute the plays as he wants them executed. So I think a clean process, clean plays, maybe a drive that doesn't you don't want it to go three and out, obviously. But I think that those are probably the biggest things Todd Monken's looking at, and maybe it does end in points, and maybe you do see a really good drive that they march up and down the field and can do some things. But I think that probably is secondary to the operation and having a clean drive and not having any issues and just seeing that his offense is operating at an effective level.
So we'll go the other way. What do you think if he sees he'd be really concerned?
Yeah, like I said, I think when I'm ready to hit, to me, like hitting the panic button will really start when the joint practices against the Bills roll around, and if they still are just a mess, I think we got to start having a real conversation about it. And I guess to a degree, like if it's the first team offense and the Bears don't play their starters and you're going against their second teamers and you're struggling, that would obviously be a bad look. So maybe we'd start the panic, we'd hit the panic button a little sooner then. But yeah, I think that's maybe what would concern him the most, right? Is like whatever the Bears are going to do, how is the Browns offense going to look against it? If it's the ones, maybe it is going to be a little tougher. If it's the twos, you should be able to move the football effectively. But I mean, I think we've seen it in practice. Like when things don't go right, Todd gets pretty frustrated. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. So I think you're going to know how he's feeling in the moment if things aren't going right when they cut to him on the camera and you kind of see how he's reacting. But yeah, if it doesn't go well, if they can't move the football and you're still seeing a lot of these issues, I think it sets the tone or the stage for a really I don't know if awkward's the right word, but a really tense week where we're all gonna kind of be waiting with bated breath to see how they respond to that and if they can start to turn a corner going into that second preseason game and with the joint practice against the Bills. To really know like does this team do it? Does this offense do anything well, or is it just going to be this struggle all season long?
Who are you really anxious to see in pads against another team?
I probably started where I started with the list of winners. I want to see what Denzel Boston can do against some other DBs. We know he can hawk on all the Browns DBs at this point because he's basically done it, except against Denzel Ward, I guess. But definitely see him go against some of these guys. I really want to see Jared Verse and how he attacks some of these other tackles and offensive linemen that are going to get thrown his way in different sessions and different settings throughout the rest of the preseason and training camp. So that's another big one. And conversely, on the other side, Spencer Fano, right? Like he's now spent 2.5 weeks, and if you go back to the spring, some of the spring, learning how Jared Verse likes to attack tackles. But there's other archetypes out there for those types of players. There's other pass rushers out there that do different things and have different moves. And so, how is he going to adjust to those things? How is he going to react to those things? And then I think this in general, you could go on down the offensive line. I think this offensive line is. I think they raised their floor because being healthy and not having a bunch of guys that get injured, I think, is at least a step in the right direction for this group. But in terms of like how effective they can be, we don't know that yet. So seeing how all those guys kind of handle a different team and if the struggles that they've had at camp so far is more of a Browns defensive line being that good thing, or if it's that they just maybe aren't that good themselves thing, I think that'll start to reveal itself. So those are some of the areas that I'm really going to be looking at here come Saturday for the preseason game.